What's up, Realm Royale gamers? I'm Dr. Tepper, and welcome to my Hunter Guide in Realm Royale Reforged. Tutorial time! Each class in Realm Royale Reforged has one locked movement and two unique class weapons. So these three things are the most important for me to cover, since you will be using them pretty much every game. So for Hunter, your movement would be Grapple Hook, and your weapons would be Longbow and Crossbow. First, I am going to talk about Longbow. It has high single shot burst damage, so it fits very well into the right peak meta of the game. The Longbow draw is fully linear, so you don't necessarily have to draw it back all the way. However, to get those juicy high damage shots, you are going to want to wait for the bar to fill all of the way up before you release the bow. One pro tip that I can give you is to use your abilities in order to fire the bow. Every time you press your ability button, the bow releases the arrow, and you are able to fire the shot without actually releasing your fire button. By doing this, you are reducing your weapon's downtime since you begin your draw the second that you release the arrow. Keep in mind that you need to be holding your fire button the whole time for this to work properly. It will take a little bit of practice to get this down, but it is well worth it if you are looking to be a pro hunter main. You should know that the Longbow is very bad at doing high damage per second in an open area. That's where the Crossbow comes in. This weapon is a fast-firing, high DPS weapon that serves as an excellent secondary to the Longbow, especially due to the low swap speed. You can go from hitting a full damage Longbow shot to finishing someone with your Crossbow very smoothly as long as you practice it. I've seen some people have some issues with this, so I'll mention it. When using a Crossbow, you should be holding down your fire button and tracking your enemies in order to get the best use out of this weapon. Now it's time to teach you how to be Spider-Man in Realm Royale. The Grapple Hook is the hunter's default movement ability. It is a short-range deployable hook that takes the player from point A to point B. The grapple can and should be cancelled before you get to point B by pressing the ability again, or the way that I do it, and the way that synergizes best with Longbow, is pressing and holding your fire button mid-grapple. Grapple Hook is also a great recovery tool if you get hit by an enemy CC ability. Combine the ability to shoot your Longbow by casting your abilities and canceling grapple with your Longbow draw perfectly. You can make some high-level plays in a lot of situations. Here is a clip of me utilizing these techniques. Okay, that pretty much covers the fundamentals of the Hunter's Kit. Now, I'm going to show you what I think is the meta build and how that build is played. This meta build I'm talking about is Dodge Roll, Lightfoot Potion, and a Grapple Hook. And here is just a cheeky little example of me clutching out the 1v3 with this combination equipped.
Let's go!
The fundamentals of this build are based around the ability to cancel your momentum with Dodge Roll and Grapple Hook. So when you use Lightfoot Potion and cancel your jumps early with your other abilities, you can get 3 high jumps off and catch your enemies completely off guard every single time.
Value!
The mobility of this build is very good anywhere on the map, and this is by far the best ability loadout to use when you are playing Hunter. At least in solos. In trios, Flare is very important in order to give your team that extra vision on the enemy. In most of these examples, I am utilizing the fact that I can release my arrow by casting my abilities, and I am also canceling my grapple with my Longbow draw. These two techniques are extremely impactful to this build and help make it the strongest Hunter loadout in 1 vs 1. One thing that I almost forgot to mention is that you can shoot your weapon or draw your bow during the dodge roll animation. Knowing this will help you dominate with this build in a lot of cases. Another small tip I'd like to point out with dodge roll is the potential to jump left peek without taking damage. I use this peek all of the time, and it is very effective for getting free shots off. You can do it with the right peek as well, but it's less necessary. Alright, now that you are familiar with Hunter, I will go over how this build matches up against other classes and how to outplay other meta builds. I'll start with how to play against warriors. When fighting against warriors, you need to use the insane verticality that you possess. Jumping over them with a light foot means that their charge is pretty much unusable, and it is also hard to hit axes on people mid-air as well. The number one rule for you as a hunter is to play near a wall that you can grapple off of. If a warrior leaps on you and you are in an open field, you pretty much just die. Lightfoot Potion is also a very solid option to counter warriors leaping on your head. One thing to be careful about, however, is net shot. If a warrior hits one of these on you while you are high up, you will heroic land and most likely lose the fight. I would still say that the most important thing about fighting warriors is just staying above them. Fighting mages with this hunter build is pretty much the same as fighting warriors, as you should be staying in the air for as long as possible during the fight. With mage though, the one tip I can give is to not waste your longbow shots when they are soaring and ice blocking during the fight. Mages want you to waste your shots on them because it gives them a window to do damage while you are drawing your bow. Holding your longbow draw on a mage in ice block is the best possible case scenario, as you will be able to hit a headshot when they come out. The same thing goes with soar. Unless the mage is very low, he is likely soaring in for another engagement. Saving your bow shot for when they land is very important for winning mage fights. Now let's talk about fighting assassins. You want to be very careful about the way you use your grapple and lightfoot potion when fighting an assassin, as it is easy to hit a snipe on a mid-air target. Use your verticality while in close range and try to go over their head when making plays with these abilities. Most assassin players will have a concussion grenade, so you also need to be saving dodge roll or grapple to be countering that at all times. You just need to use all of your cooldowns in order to dodge the snipe basically when you're fighting an assassin. Another big tip is that you should not shoot the decoy. It only does 50 damage per shot and is a non-factor in the fight. Good assassin players are going to line up the snipe while you are shooting the decoy, and they will absolutely punish you for doing that. Alright, last but not least, I'm going to talk about how to play against other hunters. The mindset of not jumping up in the open applies here as well, as hunters will punish you hard with their longbow. You want to fight close to them and use your abilities to dodge all of the bow shots. This is done best by jumping directly over their head, as they have to look up and turn around while you are just pumping damage into them. Hunters also may be using proc trap or blast arrow, so saving dodge roll or grapple for one of those is important if you want to guarantee the fight win. Finally, to wrap up this guide, I'd like to point out that the build I went over is not the only viable build to play on Hunter. It just has the highest skill cap. So once you get good with it, the sky is the limit. Literally. Something to keep in mind is that dodge roll is the key piece to Hunter having success with any build. If you see a dodge roll, you should grab it while you can, because I will be lurking. I'll see you in the realm, gamers.